Hello, and welcome back to Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus. Tonight I'm going to be showing you how to design a chip bag from start to finish. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to start with a blank sheet. I'm going to go here to cut out and picture, add a colored shape, and it's going to default to this blue, and I'm going to say OK. Then I'm going to go here to, I want the bag to stretch, or the color, the royal blue bottom half to stretch across the whole chip bag. So I'm going to go, once again, to cut out and picture. I'm going to go to, this time, cut out of picture, and I'm going to choose with the cookie cutter shape. I'm going to change that to an oval just like I did for the treat bag, but instead of making it a circle, we're going to flatten this, turn it at an angle, take it to one side, drag it all the way to the other side, and then I'm just going to position this where I want it, and to make it kind of match the bag, the treat bag or the favor bag, I'm going to pull it across at an angle. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can position it just like I want it. I think about right there. And then I want to straighten this out a little more, so I'll do it like that. So now I'm going to hit next. And for right now it's choosing this side, but this is the part I want to keep, so I'm going to click here where it says select opposite area, and then I'm going to take the check mark out of this box because I want it to stay on the same page. So I'm going to click done, and then I'm going to delete this top part just like that. Now I'm going to go back to that same box, and I'm going to go to cut out and picture, add a colored shape, and this time it's going to be our light colored gold. Now I'm going to change these once I'm done. Once I have them the way I want them, I'll pull up the purse and change the colors. I can do that now. So I'm just going to click on the purse, drag it up into the picture. Then I'm going to click on the bottom, the dark blue portion. I'm going to go to paint and color effects, and I'm going to go to fill with solid color, which is the red star, and then I'm going to use my dropper to pull that royal blue out. Going to click done, and I'm going to do the same thing with the top half. I'm going to click on that top part, the yellow. I'm going to go to paint and color effects, fill with solid color, and I'm going to click the beige or the yellowish beige. So now I have the colors that I need. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And since I like that gold metallic bar going through, like on the purse or the treat bag, I like this gold metallic. I put that gold metallic bar through there. So I'm going to put another gold metallic bar through here. And so it will match this shape or this cut that I made in the blue square. I'm going to click on the blue square. I'm going to hit copy and paste. Once it finished saving that, I'm going to hit paste. And now this one, I'm going to go to paint and color effects, fill with the gradient, scroll down a little bit till I get the gold bars, slide down all the way to the bottom of choose a style, and I'm going to choose the I call this like rays. It looks like rays. So I'm going to click on it here in the right hand column, and I'm going to drag it under the blue, and you'll see it mimics the same shape because it is just a copy, and that way I will make sure that the bar will be exactly like I want it to be, the exact width that I want it to be. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit, and I'm going to tilt it a little just so that I can make sure that it's going to be even all the way across, and that looks good. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit because I don't want it really thick. And then I'm going to go into Paint and Color Effects, change color, and I'm going to lighten it up a little bit just so that it'll shine a little bit more. And I'm going to hit done. And I'll take a look at our bag, the bag that I've already made, and you'll see the gold bar or the gold metallic line right here. So now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to bring in my butterflies. So let me find my butterflies again on the desktop. And I can get them from the actual Butterfly Master. So I'm going to open that. And then I'm just going to drag my butterflies up into my new project that I'm working on here. I'll grab the largest blue butterfly. And sometimes the software will freeze where it won't allow me to move anything, and all I have to do is click on anything, open it, don't change a thing, and click done, and then all of a sudden you can move it. So those of you who requested the software so that you could follow along, that's one of the workarounds that helps with this older software. So I'm going to continue bringing up the butterflies that I want, and I think I had all three of these on the bag in different areas. That one's okay. And then I'm going to bring up just the last one, which was this one. Okay, and you want to have all your pictures open on the bottom. I cropped these out of white background. As you can see, there's still a little white background around there. And I'm going to get rid of that right quickly by going to Edge Effect, Edge Softness. And I just have to click this probably 1 or 2 times, and that will disappear. And as you can see, the white line is gone. So next I want to make the circle that you see in the chip bag, this oval shape right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here once again to cut out in picture, add a colored shape, and I'm going to choose a circle, and I'm going to change it into an oval, just like that. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Put it right there. And now I'm going to change this circle to that gradient. Change the style. Click done. Then once again, because I'm going to be using this same shape over and over again, I'm just going to copy it and paste it again and again. So I need 2 more circles. So this one I'm going to turn into a white circle. So I'm going to go to Paint and Color Effect, Fill with a solid color, and I'm going to just change that to white. Click done. I'm going to resize it and fit it right here into my circle. And what I did was I like having it a little larger on the top and smaller on the bottom. So I'm going to do that again. And all I'm going to do is slide it down a little bit so that it's more here at the top, and then the sides, these 2 sides on the bottom are the same. All right. Then I'm going to add a shadow edge just to the outside of this white so that it gives it a kind of a 3D effect. I'm going to choose the drop left shadow, and you'll find that under Special Effects right here. Special Effects, shadow is the second one. And then I chose the soft first to see if I like it, but sometime, yeah, it's looking okay this time. On my wind book, it looked a little rough around the edge. So if it looks too rough around the edge, just choose the drop left or right and then reposition it. But soft seems to be working, so I'm going to keep that one. And actually, I don't need this one because I'm getting the effect that I needed with these two. When I worked on it, I made the original on the wind book, and I needed to use 3 circles, but now I can just use 2. This computer is more powerful. And I'm going to put also a shadow around the big gold square. And this one I might use I think I'm going to use the drop left, because you can see the difference when I have the shadow, the soft shadow. You can see that the lines are jagged around the shape, but I want it solid. So I'm going to click on drop left, and you see it makes a solid edge. And I'm just going to resize this a little bit so that it's bigger, a bigger edge at the top. Actually, I'm going to just pull it out a little bit. I think I like that, but I want it a little lighter. So I'm going to go over to customize the shadow, and I'm going to click a couple of clicks on the softness and a couple of clicks on transparency, and it'll lighten it up so that it'll look more like a shadow as opposed to a full edge. Okay, that looks good. Now that I have my circle here, I'm going to click done. Then I'm going to click my large butterfly, but before I do that, I'm going to group these so that whenever I move them, they'll move together. Click don't show me that again. And now whenever I move these, they'll move together. I'm going to take my butterfly. I'm going to click on the one I want to use, drag it all the way to the top layer on the right hand side, and this is our row that shows all the layers, our column that shows all the layers. So I brought my main butterfly to the front, and I'm just going to tilt it a little to make it look like it's landing on, kind of just lightly sitting there on the edge of that oval. And I'm going to bring it up enough so that you'll see the shadow around the butterfly, so that it looks like it's actually hovering above that, like the wings are not laying flat. I like to give all of my projects dimension, make it look like it's 3-dimensional. So you just add a shadow, and that does the trick. Next, I had this butterfly on the top here on the back. Put it there, and then I'm going to bring this one up, and I have this one on this side on the original that I made, and I have this one on this side over my logo. So I'm going to put that there for now, but we still need to add my shadowed edge, which looks like a crimped edge, but I made it just using shadows. And I'll show you how I did that, and then I used that crimped shadowed edge instead of using a crimper, which of course saves quite a bit of time. Alright, so I'm going to show you this edge that I made. This is the edge that I made, and I usually just use the same one over and over again. I'll save it. Once I made it, I just saved it as a light gray edge, and I just drag it whenever I make a chip bag. I just drag it up into my new project, and it works just fine. And I recolor it so that it will be match the chip bag that I'm making. So I'll show you. Here it is. I'm going to just drag it up for now, and I'll show you how I change the colors first I'm going to put it where it needs to go. So I have the edge there. And I'm going to break them apart so you can see how they look. So this is how I save them, as a light gray. And all I do, as long as they're gray, or this is using the black and white option here, but as long as they're this color, I can change them to any color that I want by going to touch up, correct tint. I can make them red. I can make them any color in the rainbow. And then once I get it to the correct hue that I want, I click done, and then I go here to change color, and I'll either darken it or lighten it to make it match perfectly the project that I'm using. And it's just shadows. So I'm going to go back so that I'll have them all ready done. And I like adding on some of the bags to make them look a little more fancy. I like to add an edge here, just a gold metallic edge, so it brings it all together. So I'm going to go here once again to cut out in picture. I'm going to choose add a colored shape. I'm going to make that a square, and I'm going to hit done. Then I'm going to go to paint and color effects, fill with the gradient. I'm going to choose those gold bars, go down and choose the cylinder or the ray pattern, hit done. Then I'm going to I just want a portion of this. So I'm going to go once again back to cut out a picture and use a cookie cutter shape, and I'm just going to cut the bottom edge of this square. And you notice I didn't move the square or anything, because this way it lines up instantly on top of the square. When I bring out the cookie cutter shape, it's already exactly over the shape, so all I have to do is shrink this line down so that I can cut just this much of this metallic square and use it as my edge. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to take this edge, I'm going to bring it down so that it's underneath the crimped edge, and I'm just going to catch it right on the side and drag it all the way across. I'm going to shrink it down a little more because I don't want it showing too much, like 1 pixel, that's good. And now I'm just going to, instead of doing that cut again, just going to hit copy, paste. I'm going to move it up to this side. Once again, I'm going to drop it underneath, and because I want it to be exactly the carbon copy of this one, I'm going to go into size and position, flip, hit upside down, so now it's an exact copy of the one below. And I'm just going to pull these sides in a little bit. And now to give it some dimension, I'm going to click on the gold bar. I'm going to go to shadow, and I'm just going to choose soft shadow, and I'm going to pull it down just a little bit so you can see, make it look like it's once again dimensional. And I'm going to make it softer and more transparent, so it just looks like a light shadow. And usually I will do that first so that when I copy it, this one will already have it. So I think I'm going to delete this one and repaste so that I already have my shadow on there. Or you could just put a shadow on the one that I already had at the bottom, but I don't want to do that. Oops. I'm copying my blue border, and I want to just copy this gold one. So I'm going to click right on the gold. Going to hit copy, then paste, and then I'm going to shrink this down to make it go on this end. I'm going to hit size and position, flip, and hit upside down. I'm going to put it once again behind my crimped edge. Pull it over, and we have that edge. Now I also like to put a crimped edge on the chip portion sometime. So I'm just going to go into Special Effect, Shadow. It says it's too big, so it's not going to show, but it's going to show. So I'm going to click on Soft, and as you can see, that edge instantly darkened. Even though it says it won't show, it does. So now I have that shadow on. Next, we have the logo and the facts that I called Rita Facts. So I also had one of these butterflies right here at the top of my oval shape. So I'm just going to click on it, copy, paste. I'm going to resize it a little bit, tilt it a little bit, and just drop it right there. You can kind of maneuver it however you want. Yeah, I like that. So next I'm going to add in some text, and I want my text to be golden, and I'm going to have to use a new font because my Winbook has different fonts from my desktop. So I think I'm going to go with, I want to go with Edwardian. So I'm just going to click here, type an E, and there's Edwardian, and bring it up a little bit. Let me zoom in a little. Alright, and I want to bend that text. First I'm going to type my message, which is appreciating and I think I'm going to say appreciating you, Rita, but I'm going to do each one by itself because this one I want to curve to go to mimic the shape of my oval. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to hit edit text, and I also want to change this writing to gold. So I'm going to click here in more colors, and then I'm going to click up here in the border, and as you can see it changed my writing to light gold, and I'm just gonna, I like that one looks good. So I'll just click around until I get the right shade of gold, or I can move the little balls on this side in order to get to the right color. But that looks good. So now I'm still in edit text. I'm going to click on apply special effect, bend text, and then I choose one of these to start with and then adjust it from there. So I'm going to adjust it so that it curves along with the shape of the top of the oval. And I'm going to keep clicking and eyeballing this until I have it like I want it. Now I'm not liking the way this G is looking, so I think I'm going to try using a different font and see if I like it better. I have also on here, let's try Artisan. I think I have Artisan. And I'll see how that one looks. Or Amazon. I have, yeah, there's Amazon. Okay, I like that one better because it doesn't look like it's drooping as much as the other one did. So I have my appreciating. I'm going to click done. Now I'm going to copy this one time by hitting the copy and then the paste. But I want this to be straight. So I'm going to right click, edit text. I'm going to go into apply special effect, bend text. And then I'm going to hit the X, which is going to make it straight. I'm going to hit done, done. And then I'm going to type this. Change it to you. Appreciating you. I'll move it up a little bit. And last, I want to type the recipient's name, and that's going to be Rita. So once again, since I already have that copied and saved, I'm going to hit paste again. It brings up appreciating. I'm going to hit edit text, apply special effect, bend text, and take it off. And you'll find these in a lot of the functions that allow you to adjust or alter the text or pictures. If you change your mind, you can always go in and hit the X and it'll take the effect off. So I've taken the curve effect off, and now I'm going to type Rita, and this time I'm going to click done, and I'm going to resize Rita so that it's larger than the other writing. Now, because I want this to stand out a little bit, I'm going to click on appreciating, hit the control key, click on U, keep holding the control key, click on Rita. And then that's how you group them. You choose them all, and then you hit this little puzzle piece here, and it locks them and makes it one, so that when you apply an effect, it'll affect all of these words that are included in this grouping. So I'm going to go here to special effect and add a shadow, because I want to add a light shadow, not that one. I want to add a very light shadow to appreciating Rita, because on words like this, if you add too much of a shadow, it comes out looking doubled. But I just want to, like that, but I don't want to make it look doubled. I just want to make it stand out a little bit more. So I'm just going to bring that shadow out a little bit, just enough to make it stand out, and then I'm going to hit done. Now that the black is on there, I want to line that gold up a little bit so that it stands out a little more. There we go. All right. So now I want to put the other part of the message here on the bottom, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to paste. I'm going to open this up, and our message at the bottom said, "For your unending support and faithfulness." So once again, I'm going to edit this, apply special effects, go to bend and take off the curve, and then I'm going to hit done, done again, and change this to the rest of the message. For your unending support and faithfulness. Now I could have typed that all together, but it tends to put wide spaces between one sentence and the next, so I like to just do it individually. I'll get rid of this Rita here. I like to do it individually so I can space it how much I want it spaced. So I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to bring that down. All right, we're getting somewhere. Now I want to add my logo, so I'm going to go in here and find my logo. But before I do that, I'm going to make some boxes for my logo and one for the Rita facts. So I'm going to go to cutout and picture, add a colored shape, make a square. The same feature, when you're using this software, you can use these same features over and over again. And then I'm going to go to paint and color. I'm going to go to paint and color, effects. I'm going to go to fill with a gradient, switch down to the gold bars again, and then the ray or cylinder or point. It's like a point. And then I'm going to make this into a square. About the size of my logo. there, but I had it coming down some, and I had my butterfly over here. I'm going to bring it to the top, all the way to the top of my right hand column of layers, and I have it just the edge of that butterfly on the gold box. I'm going to duplicate this because I'm also going to put one around the Rita's Facts. So I'm going to hit copy, paste, and I'm going to bring it over here for Rita's Facts. And it can be even, or you could have thanks for coming or different things underneath it. You could put thank you for coming or some other information that you want on there. You could have your barcode, your QR code that sends people to your website. But for today, I'm just going to put the Rita Facts and my full logo with the information attached. So I'm going to bring my butterfly once again, drag it all the way up to the top so it'll be able to overlap my box a little bit. Now I'm going to go in and find my logo. Should be in here somewhere. If not, I'll drag it up from the one at the bottom. Yeah, I think I'll just drag it up from the one at the bottom. So click here. Oh, not that one. This is the one. Then I'm just going to drag my card. That's also my business card. I'm going to put it in this gold box. And just like I did with the oval, I wanted the bottom of the box to hang off a little bit, like this one is wider at the top. This time I made these a little wider at the bottom. So I'm going to make sure all the sides are the same width. Sometimes it takes a few tries. Looks like this one needs to come over a little bit. Sometimes the mouse doesn't help you out. Alright, so now I want a little shadow around this gold bar as well. So I'm going to click the gold square. I'm going to go to Special Effects, Shadow. I'm going to do a soft shadow, and I'm going to just pull it out a little bit so we could see it raised up off of, make it look like it's raised up off the chip bag a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. I'm going to go to Special Effects, Shadow, Soft, and I'm just going to pull it out a little bit from one of the corners, and it gives you a nice little edge around there, nice little shadowed edge. And on this side, I'm gonna, rather than typing all the Rita's Facts over again, I'm just gonna switch to this one. I'm gonna group all these facts, and then I'm gonna control click Rita, so that'll be included. And I'm gonna hit the little puzzle piece, and now I'm gonna go up to the chip bag that we're making. And I'm just gonna grab those, and it's very easy to make. I didn't mean to grab the whole thing. Delete that and try it again. Click. Oh, I need this one. Click. The other one. The reason why this one has no layers. Excuse me. The reason why this one has no layers is because it's saved as a JPEG. So it's saved as a photo file rather than pictured file where you can keep manipulating it. So I'm going to go here to the one that has all the layers, and I'm going to drag up the Rita Facts. And I just made the Rita Facts by going to cut out and picture, add a colored shape, and then I made the shape white. Then I made all these little bars just using a black square that I resized, and thinned out so that it made these lines of separation that are similar to the ones you'll find on the back of packages. And now I'm going to change this text to Amazon, I'm sorry, Amazon bold text, which is the font that I was using. I'm going to resize this one a little bit because it's wider than the one I used on my other computer. And then I'm going to resize my gold box. I want it to match the one on this side. And this one could still be a little smaller. Yeah, like that. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Bring it down a little more at the bottom. Make it even with that one. And there you have it. Now I added the Ruffles logo. And I don't think I put a shadow behind these words yet. So I'm going to once again group them together by clicking the first one, hitting the control and holding it, and then clicking the second part of the phrase. Click the little puzzle piece. I'm going to go over here to special effects and shadow, go with the soft shadow, and I'm just going to do the same thing like I did with the one above. I'm going to pull it a little bit out, not too much, just so that it stands up off of the paper and it shows up better once it's printed. Alright, so now all we have left to do is add, what else did I have on? The ruffles. So I'm going to go to the ruffles. I downloaded the Ruffles logo, and I'll bring it to the top. I downloaded the Ruffles logo from Google. So now all that's left for us to do on this chip bag is to add the Ruffles logo. And I went to the internet and I chose one of the Ruffles logo. I like the other one with the chip, but at different times, different logos, images will come up. So I'll just use this one to show you how I did it. I also have another video that shows you how to find and alter the logos to match so that you can make them match your products. So I'll use this one as an example. I brought in the logo. Once you find the one you want, you just right click, hit copy image, go to picture it, make yourself a new blank sheet, drop it on that page by right clicking and hitting paste. And now you're going to go to that same function we've been using, cut out in pictures, cut out of picture. You're going to go to by color selection this time, which is that the third option. And then I always take out this outer edge first, but in this case, for speed, I'm going to take out the colors within the portion of the chip. So I'm going to first click on the blue. It gives me all the blue. I'm going to click next and done. I'm going to go back to that same function, cut out a picture by color. This time I'm going to choose the red. And I'm going to just click in each one of the red areas. Click next and done. Now I want to click get this white edge that's in here. So I'm going to go to the same function, cut out a picture by color, and this time I'm clicking the white, all the white areas. I'm going to hit next and done. And as you can see, as I do that, it's giving me all the layers on this side. So the last layer I want is the chip itself, so I'm going to go to cut out by color selection, and I'm going to hit the chip, and there you go. And now I have all my layers. I'm going to get rid of this bottom layer because I don't need it anymore. And now I have all the layers that I need. So for this outer layer, let's say I wanted to make it the gold metallic to match our pattern. I'm going to go to fill with the gradient, scroll down to the gold, scroll down again to this point or cylinder, and it makes that edge gold. Next, I want the ruffles to be royal blue to match my blue design. So I'm just going to go to fill with a solid color. Sorry about that. If you want to change colors, you first, so that it will be truly the shade you want, you have to first turn it to black and white. If you don't turn it to black and white first, when you change the color under special effect, under touch up, correct tint, it will be a weird shade of, it would have been a weird shade of red and blue, at some odd color. So to get the true blue, or to change it to the true color that you're trying to change it to, always make it black and white first by going into paint and color effects, make black and white, done, and now you're ready to change it to any color you want. Now that we have all of our layers, as you can see here on the right hand side, I'm going to choose the ruffles because I want to, and the slash because I want to change that to my royal blue. So I'm going to go to touch up, correct tint, and I'm going to drag this little ball down to the royal blue, and then I'm going to slide the slider all the way over to the royal blue side. Now that's not the color we want yet, but to finish it up, I click done. Out of that option, I'm going to go to paint and color, and this time we're going to go to change color because we just want to change the tint. So I'm going to start by lightening it up, and if that's not quite as light as I need it, I'm going to go on to touch up, brightness and contrast, and I'm going to brighten it up in brightness and contrast. Now I'm going to go back to change the color. I'm going to hit the middle, which changes the saturation, and I'm going to increase the saturation until it looks like the blue that I want it to be, and it's getting there. And now I think just to darken it up a little bit, and it will be the color that I want it. Alright, so that's how you change the color. So now we've changed our whole chip logo so that it will match our bag. But I like the one that I made earlier, so I'm just going to drag that one up and use that one. I'm going to put the black and white one all the way at the back, drag it down till it's on the bottom layer, and now you can see how I made it with the gold edge and with the ruffles. I just changed them to the royal blue. So I'm going to group all those layers so that I can move them all together. And I want to resize it, and I also straighten it out a little bit and put it right underneath my label, just like that. I think I want this a little thinner. That's better. And I also want to add a little shadow to it, but I'm going to use the drop left, and I'm going to drag it up a little bit, and I'll soften it. Make it a little transparent so it's not so dark. And now we have our chip bag. So I hope you like this project. You can try it on your own, change it up any way you want. This is your basic setup. Here's an easy way to set up your chip bag to make sure that everything is in the right place. As you know, these are the left side here and the right side here will make up your back, and this is the front of your chip bag. And so that you can make sure you have everything centered and in the area where it should be, you can use Gridlines in this software, Microsoft Picture It. So I'm going to go to Size and Position, Alignment Grids, and I'm going to click Vertical Guide 3 times. 1, 2, 3. When the page is centered as this one is, your grid lines will be directly in the middle. And we have 3 here, although you only see 1. So the first grid line you want to grab by clicking on it and pulling it toward the left. And actually, I just eyeball and I try to make sure that it is halfway between the center grid line and the left side. Then once again, you're going to go to the midline, grab another grid line, and this one you want to put halfway between the center and the right edge. And you can eyeball this or you can measure it out, but I can usually tell pretty well by just eyeballing it. So now this side, I have a little bit more on this side than this side. So I'm just going to grab my whole center panel. So I have all the pieces that I want to move. I'm going to click the puzzle piece, and then I'm just going to slide this over a little bit until it's even on both sides. And that's how easy it is to center your design. So now I know this is the back, and it doesn't matter that there's more on this side than this side. For these, you can move them over as well if you want, and I'll show you. Just do the same thing, group it and move it over. But because it's going to have a white strip down here because the printer is not going to completely print edge to edge, then this really won't make that big of a difference. But if you wanted to, you would just group that and move it as well. But I'm going to put it back where I had it because I don't mind it being over there. And then you save this as a JPEG by going to File, Save As, change it from Picture It format to JPEG, or JPEG, which is a file interchange format. Hit Save, but I already have it saved. And then you're ready to print. Thank you once again for watching Harriet's Computer Art Plus. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, and also hit the bell if you'd like to be notified as soon as I get new tutorials loaded.